Hammanskraal residents are desperate for running clean water. Taps have been dry for several weeks now, and an old borehole is the only source of water for this community. The city council promised water tankers while they treat the contaminated tap water. But that promise was broken, leaving the residents here no choice but to queue in the scorching heat.
We as a residents, we don't have that confirmation of how far, how's this, but the leadership, they don't come in here.
So what is your plea?
My plea, I say, please, 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 Tumamina. Tumamina, we are suffer here. We don't know who must be sent, because you said we must Tuma wena maposa, but we are Tuma, dangogun sagu Tuma ke auruma maposa, please, rasafara mo Hammanskraal.
The elderly and school children are the most vulnerable as they are unable to scramble at the old water boreholes. As the water scramble continues, tensions often arise amongst the community members.
Now we're fighting over water. Young kids are now disrespecting us elders because of this water situation.
Tshwane has long-standing water problems, particularly in the northern areas around Hammanskraal. Residents say the city's council's loud silence on their plight is only making matters worse. Sipho Sturman, SABC News, Hammanskraal in Pretoria. Sturman, SABC News, Hammanskraal in Pretoria.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to this special production that we're having here at the Timber Purification Plant in the heart of Hammanskraal. Of course, an area that has become a topical, of course, a subject around the ongoing water crisis that has since plagued the community and left a lot of the residents here frustrated and fuming as they continue to search for answers. And it really goes undebatable that water is life and dignity, and without it, communities are left in great devastation. And really, just to go back to, of course, what the country's constitution states, of course, in its Bill of Rights, Chapter 27, it makes it very clear that each citizen has the right to, of course, access to quality water. But that right seems to have been denied to the residents of Hammanskraal here, who continue to just, back the leadership, the administration, to give them nothing but the dignity that come through clean running water. So, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be having a panel discussion, and right here, just to introduce my guest here, of course, speaking on behalf of the city, right here on my right is the MMC for Utility Services, Mr. Abel Tau. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome. And on his right, of course, is Mr. Zakes Mukwena. He is from the lobby group Not In My Name. You can see clearly branded there. And of course, speaking on behalf of the people of Hammanskraal, the people who are the most affected. Here I have Tumelo, of course, Kuiteng. He is a part of the Hammanskraal Residents Association here, who will be helping us to delve into this matter. Why do we still have this problem 25 years into democracy? Is it a political hot potato? Is it a political football that is at play here? Are leadership in the area perhaps trying to draw political mileage out of a basic human right? So let's start with the voice of the people. Of course, Mr. Nkwiteng, if you can just tell us, from the residents, how bad is the situation and how far back does it go?
Okay, thank you, Patricia, for having me. And firstly, I would like just to correct, it's Hammanskraal Residents Forum, not Association. And yes, we have been badly affected by the quality of water that is being supplied to Hammanskraal and the surrounding areas. And this issue has been for years. And our problem here is the source. We have the Ruival wastewater treatment plant, which is not functioning to its full capacity. And to understand, over the years, there's been an influx of people, a population has grown, and that plant was constructed many years ago. And when the population grows, it was not extended to cater for all. So our challenge here is that since it's overloaded, it's not working to its full capacity, then effluent, raw sewer from the treatment plant flows into the Apis River. The Apis River, which goes downstream to the Temba Dam, which is our catchment area. And from the catchment area, the water is drawn to here we are at the water purification plant. So our problem is that the water we are drinking is contaminated. And we have for a very long time been engaging the city to register our complaints. And at the initial stage, we had there were some denials from the city, because as the community we didn't have scientific proof to say the water is contaminated. It has these following organisms. And we then complained to the Human Rights Commission in 2018. And then there was a joint sampling of water between the city, Hammanskraal Residents Forum, and the Department of Water and Sanitation, whereby water samples were taken for testing. And it was only after the test results has come with an adverse findings to say that the water by then the results stated that there is E. coli, there is nitrate and nitrite, which are organics that are not fit for which can cause diseases in the human body. For example, your nitrate is said that it can even harm unborn babies. It can even go as far as causing cancer over time. And the test result, that is when the city and the community started now to engage, because by then there were scientific results that no one could dispute. And that is when we started engaging the city to come with a way forward as to how can we redress the situation.
Thank you so much for giving us that holistic picture of where the problem actually really is. Now, as we sit here today, you have the MMC here. What is the one thing that you hope as residents they can really attend to speedily so that this crisis can be resolved once and for all?
Yeah, since our engagement, we had a visit from the Deputy Minister Mahlobo for Water and Sanitation and his entire parliamentary portfolio committee, whereby we also presented this case to a point that we were even invited to Parliament to also put an oral presentation over and above what we have. Just
make it short so that we can have the conversation flowing. Yes. What do you guys want today?
No. We want to have water that is not substandard. We want to have water that is fit for human consumption. That's all what we want as a residents of Hammanskraal.
Okay, let's bring in the lobby group, Not In My Name. Clearly this matter is of such concern that you also felt compelled to join the fray and try and find answers and really help the community here. In one of the statements that you have issued, you actually said that this is a gross human rights violation. Just elaborate.
Thank you, Patricia, for having me. As you know, as you have alluded firstly earlier, water it's a human right. No human being can survive without clean drinking water. Now, as you said, for many years, Hammanskraal has been struggling with clean water. And we feel, as this is a basic human right, look, it can't be correct that for so many years we are going to carry on with excuses here and there every day. We need water that is drinkable, that is clean. That is all what we need from the powers that be. Because my friend here has said before, there will be diseases that will come in, and some of them, they won't show up now. Over a period of time, people will get sick, and it is not correct. It is wrong.
You're right. Thank you so much. Let's bring you in, Mr. Abultau. Of course, you are the accounting body here to bring, answers that we're all searching for. And I really want to ask you the obvious question. Are we sitting with a crisis here?
No, Pat. Good morning and good morning to the viewers at home. But honestly speaking, I don't think we are sitting with a crisis. We did have a disaster in our hands when we took over. As you correctly said, 24 years later, the people of Hammanskraal are still battling with the challenges that they did before the advent of democracy, even before the formation of Tshwane as a metro. And subsequent to that, I am hoping that one of the promises that was made by Puang was that we are going to have a public inquiry, because it is very important to allow residents of Hammanskraal and people in this area who otherwise wouldn't have a voice, to have a voice in that inquiry that would seek to find answers and lay culpability where it belongs. But do we have a crisis? No. I think as a city, we continue to do more. Addressing a complex...
But MMC, sorry to interrupt you. How do we say we don't have a crisis when scientific tests have actually proven that the water that people are actually depending on for life that goes directly to their health? How then do we say there's no crisis when that water is not suitable for human consumption? And if the water is not contaminated, then we have another problem. The taps simply run dry for days on. And you're sitting here and you're saying there is no crisis.
Hammanskraal was declared a disaster in 2011. That the groundwater has been contaminated as far back as 2011. Investment into this, into Hammanskraal and fixing the problem went drastically, sharply down by 2013, around that. The master plan of Tshwane had indicated that by now Rooiwal wastewater treatment works should be operating at 160 megalitres a day. It's still standing at its design capacity of 110. It is creating a flow of 130 megalitres, 20 megalitres over capacity, with an organic overload of over 80%. Those are the issues that Tumelo Kweteng was alluding to say nothing was done to address the issues of Hammanskraal. And as an administration that took over that disaster and the mess that we had inherited, we had started investing correctly, making the right decisions. And I know, and I made a commitment that if there's one thing that we are going to do, and we are convinced and confident, because scientifically we know that we have got a plan that we presented to Parliament that is credible, that we are taking all partners between us, the Department of Water and Sanitation, as well as all other partners in this thing, to make sure that we deliver in this time still drinkable water that people of Hammanskraal can depend on, and that really they can have confidence on. So we really appreciate the coming on board of people like Hammanskraal Residents Forum, and as well, not in my name and everyone, because in Tswana they say that means a task as big as this one can only be done when we all work together, and that's what we call for.
But you took very long to actually accept the problem in its full entirety, and we're not really sure whether you are accepting it, because as I said earlier, you're still saying there is no crisis. And I remember in August we covered a press briefing with the mayor where we talked about the water being contaminated, the CSIR reports that indicated that, the Human Rights Commission reports that indicated that, and the mayor denied that. The mayor denied that. We actually have the clip, and we really want to play that clip where he actually went into denying that the water is contaminated. You were sitting with the mayor in that briefing, and you supported that statement. Yes. So we want to listen to this clip. And then I really need you to give us clarity. What has changed your mind since then?
Absolutely.
Let's play that clip. To give us clarity, changed your mind since then?
Absolutely.
Let's play that clip. To give us clarity, changed your mind since then? Absolutely. Let's play that clip.